Hello and welcome to Rugby, your one-stop shop for all things French rugby in the English language. And this is our Pro Day Dirt preview for round 23, the last round of this block. They've got quite a big break after this. They don't play again until the end of March, so a big round in the context and in the run-in. This video is going to be some chat from the podcast that me and Rich recorded on Monday, so kind of talking through the last round's results, which was some fascinating away games, away wins for certain teams. And then you're going to get the predictions from us for round 23, looking at which way we think each game will go specifically. And then you'll get me running through the team news for the Colomiers versus Brive game, which is going to be shown live and free in the UK and Ireland on FR UK. Go check out FR UK over on YouTube. That game will be live on Thursday evening, and I'll run through the team and kind of our general thoughts on how that game will go. But so if you want that, skip ahead to that, but make sure you subscribe. I hope you appreciate the Pro Day Dirt video. Enjoy.
Pro Day Dirt last round started off with some pretty entertaining fare, actually. The Angoulême, which I hadn't realised as I messaged you the other day, building a new stand, such as the demand for rugby in the Charente, which is very cool, against Valence.
17-13 doesn't sound like it was a good game, but it was. It was really good fun, this game. I now, for the life of me, can't remember why it was such good fun, but it just was. It was a classic, like, crowd on the backs. The snail obviously got the Shanzy. The snail was doing a lot of dancing pre-game, and he clearly... The snail, for anyone that isn't aware, is the mascot. The big purple snail is the mascot of Soy Angoulême. He got them going, but the crowd were getting into the ref at basically everything. It was proper, it would have been 4,000 or 5,000, but it sounded a lot more. But I thought Soy Angoulême were the better team, or much better than the scoreline. The gap was much bigger than the scoreline suggests, which they're given that they also scored a penalty after the buzzer to make it 4-point margin. Suggested it was very, very tight, but it felt like they were the better team generally. I think Valence got off to a big start, didn't they? And didn't score a point after like 25 minutes or something.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they went 13-0 up quite quickly, and that was, or maybe did they nab a penalty in the second half, went 10-0 up. Either way, yeah.
No, they didn't score a point in the second.
And it felt fairly inevitable at some point it would go that way, but I still thought Valence had moments, and they play with a bit of freedom. It was also a massively changed up team.
Yeah,
quite a few guys on debut.
They were the one team that really changed up this week.
Yeah,
a lot of sides sent really strong away teams, but they very much were not that.
Yeah, which at the time I was a bit like, oh, maybe that, is that a winnable one? Probably pretty happy with the losing bonus point. Their run in the last day, I think, is genuinely quite interesting. They have 5 home games out of 8, but all of them are against the rest of the current top 6. Whoa. So they have to play Van next, and there's the break, Oyonnax, and then they've got home games against Colomiers, Brive, and finish at home to Provence, with away matches at Grenoble, Nevers, and Dax sprinkled in.
Oh.
So it's sort of a bit of a...
that's not... Well,
Nevers,
I think anyone's happy playing Nevers anywhere at the moment. But up until Christmas, maybe they'll have a resurgence at the back end of the season. But Dax isn't a place you want to go. Neither's Grenoble this time of the season.
No, but interesting in the sense that they, opportunity as well. Like, you win a couple of those home games, give them against the position against the teams around you, and it sort of almost counts for a little bit more. So I think that's a really interesting one for them.
They're also 10 points clear of 7th.
Yeah, which is a decent gap.
6th, so they're going okay.
Got a bit of breathing room.
You mentioned a few new faces. They've got something like 3 or 4 of the... Well, before going into this round, I think it was 3 out of the top 5 most minutes played in the league, and none of them played.
Yeah.
Including, obviously, Lucas Meret, who is just amazing.
The man.
But Tom Ross, former Nice man, former Waratahs, and
Brumbies, I think,
Yeah. On his first game since joining over the summer. That's quite a long wait, but he was amazing. he had a proper barnstormer of a debut, like chewed up the. We know that there's some question marks over the Swangaland pack, but I mean, he properly chewed him up at scrum time. Trying to think who else. And did anyone particularly impress you? I thought Labar in the second row was impressive. Oh, no, I was about to say Coleman. It's not Coleman. Arnold in the second row was.
Yes.
It looked like a proper. He's captaining now, and he looks like a proper leader, doesn't he? But I thought the young halfbacks looked pretty good again. Escoffre and Burgess. Like, there's definitely some talent there. But obviously, it was the main man off the bench to slot a couple of kicks. Benny Botts.
Yeah, nice to see, given his injury problems. That's always good to see. Friend of the pod, Ben Botka.
Yeah.
The guy who I thought had quite a good game, and certainly the bits I saw, and I wasn't giving it my full attention, was he was actually on debut in the centres for Valence, Dorian Marceline, with a hell of a lid on him as well.
Yeah.
Just looks, I mean, nothing particularly complex about it. Powerful.
He was active, wasn't he? He was busy.
Yeah. Willing would be another little cliche I'd throw in there. So yeah, I enjoyed all of it, I must say.
I also really enjoy watching Mamadou Mete play. He's a baller. I just love watching him ball in hand. And his darts are pretty good as well. So, and the scrum went better when he was on, which is quite
second half they got
Motu Matuyu is an absolutely enormous unit, but to come on for him. So he's clearly, he doesn't look the biggest, Mate, but he's got so much, but he's bumping people off and stuff like that. He must have so much power. I just enjoy watching him play. Yeah,
definitely. All right, what else happened in Pro
Talking of other podcast guests, friends of the pod, that are amazing left-footed goal kickers in Pro Day 2 that have struggled with injuries. Do you see the news? See what Sam Davis put up on his Instagram the other day?
Yeah,
quite remarkable.
Yeah, he picked up a really serious infection, and has been because I know obviously he had a game back, was it?
Yeah, it was his first game back. He got graze down at, I think it was Maurice David against Provence.
Yeah,
was it? And it got infected, and it's he said he's been like properly laid low, like some of the worst pain he's ever had. Well, bearing in mind he fucking dislocated a shoulder back end of last season.
Yeah, sort of. Horrible to hear. Like, what a season for him. You can also, this may sound ridiculous, but Sam Davis and I have succumbed to exactly the same thing.
I did wonder if it was.
I myself was unlucky enough off. It wasn't the Stade Maurice David. It was a five-a-side pitch in Bermondsey, which is probably more likely to have had something on it that would cause me some issues. But that's where the parallels end. There was, I did have to go. I spent quite a lot of time in hospital. And it wasn't very nice, but I hadn't played against Provence at 10 beforehand. So, right. It's just horrible to hear. Like, of all the things to happen as well after coming back, like that much rehab and things. Like, fair play to him.
So, like, he's got a really nasty scar on his shoulder from where it's like the surgery's happened. So, if you're going to get it, like, to have avoided infection from that. Like getting opened up like that, there is the inherent risk in surgery that you get infected, and he's managed to avoid that. And then first game back, not George North running down your channel, not Inga Finau or
someone's like lobbed a dodgy oyster from the Provence. Oh, there you go. I got ill in Provence as well from a dodgy oyster. There must be a third parallel in there somewhere.
Bad things come in threes.
What's the other one? Oh, we'll wait and see.
Don't go skiing anytime soon, Sam or Richard.
Oh dear.
On a serious note, though, Grenoble won, didn't they?
I think they did. They beat away at Nevers by a point. There were some real tight ones. Carcassonne, who kind of nipped past Aurillac. I've got to say, I think the bottom of the league is now looking like it's going to be. I think there's like 10 points between 5-6 teams at the bottom.
Spirit's the team that have been sucked in badly.
Yeah, and the
Nevers are
furthest,
probably not out of the woods, are they? Like they're 7 points ahead of Mont-de-Marsan, 10 points ahead of
and I
Carcassonne
mean they're the team most
on the slide.
on the slide, which obviously is nay great news for those involved. But in terms of the neutral relegation battle perspective, it hasn't always been that interesting in recent years. So yeah, it's hotting up quite nicely.
There was actually some mad games this week in Pro D2 because Grenoble, well, there was that 1 point win for them, which was a last minute try and conversion or over the 80 try and conversion. There was the Johnny McPhillips got an 82nd minute penalty to win at Carcassonne. You had Samuel Marquez clocking the red from long range to beat Oyana. Oyana losing by, well,
Point
1 point this
again.
time. Again, clocking the red from a late penalty away from home. That is, what, 5, 6 times now?
Yeah, I mean their last four away games they've won at Angoulême and then they've lost by a point in all of the rest, which is like it's just
Wow.
extraordinary.
Even the bit like Brive Dax looks like a comfortable win, but that was 24 all with about 15 minutes to go. It was 27-24 with 10 minutes to go, and then Dax got a yellow and Brive obviously just. But I think Brive also got a bonus point from that, getting to 48-24. So fair play to them. But Dax, Brive picked quite a weird. It's quite a weird one for the team selections because you saw Argennes looked really strong against a really strong Provence team, and we'll probably come on to that a bit more. But Oyonnax looked like a proper side that they sent to Beziers. Dax sent a really strong side to Brive, and Brive didn't look that like they didn't have all of their big guns playing. They looked fallible, and for 70 minutes of that game, it would have looked like they really were fallible. Yeah, some fascinating fixtures in Pro D2.
Yeah, and the one I don't think we mentioned there was big statement win by Argennes away at
Yeah,
Provence as well, which brings them very much, not that they were miles behind, but within touching distance, 3 points behind Brive in sixth. And I think they play Carcassonne next week, Argennes. So
they do, and Brive go somewhere hard. They go away to Colomiers on
yeah,
Thursday.
wow.
That is the FR UK game. So Argennes could well overtake Brive in this round. So Brive would drop out the top six.
Interesting. What do you reckon? That'd be a good one to keep an eye on. Brive have, I mean, they've kind of went
Are
okay
they
in their
good at the
last
moment?
game
I
at
don't
Grenoble.
know.
I don't know. I honestly, it's so hard to. Yeah, the fact that they appear to have had, to all intents and purposes, a pretty horrible season and yet are still in sixth.
Well, they've won
Yeah,
half their games, which isn't that fantastic.
well,
But
not for that
no,
big a side.
11 wins and a draw from 22 games is not particularly impressive, is it? They're 30 points behind Van.
Not when you've got the biggest operating budget in the league. No,
Yeah,
30 behind Van, is it?
30. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Van, who could, although it's an interesting one. There's a home. Valence Romans are. So I'm now looking ahead to next week. Valence Romans have a 100% home record. They are hosting Van, so that's on the line. But if Van were to win that, I think they are then qualified for the top six by my maths.
With 7 games to go.
Yeah,
Wow, that's quite remarkable.
yeah.
They have marched on somewhat. But Colomiers Brive I'd say it should be worth a watch. They I feel like
I think
did
Brive could win that, because of the
slight Achilles
fallibility,
heel. Yeah,
up
could
front, and
could be nicely set.
I hope Colomiers win. I want Colomiers to finish second. I feel like they deserve it with all those away
Yeah.
wins. I know they didn't have quite all of their big guns playing away at Van, and Van racked up another bonus point victory at home. But yeah, outside of that disappointing away result, to have seven 7 away wins out of 11 is phenomenal. They should
Yeah,
give them second place now just for that.
it should be anointed. Yeah, it will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to catching some of that on Thursday. Okay,
I'm intrigued to see when FI UK like do a double up. I feel like a Valence from like this week would be a good one if you did if they were to, well, it'll be out after the Six Nations, but because there's far too. Oh, there's also the Ireland game on Friday, isn't there? But if they were to double up, I'd be interested to see Valence Romans hosting Van. That'd be quite a fun game to watch.
or on the return, I think the Thursday is Provence Colomiers, which should be good, and then the
So that will be on FI UK.
give it a watch. Should be a lot of fun. What are the last games of the season? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. No, let's not skip to the finish yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay.
The only thing I know about the last game of the season is that Po host Montauban on the final day. So
Oof.
In top 14. But yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
there we go.
For another time. Pro Day de round 23. It is a huge round in the context of the run-in because it is the last game in this block and the last game for a few weeks. So each team is going to be all out, full noise, and therefore there's going to be something that goes mental at some point. There's going to be some big calls. There's going to have big say in the race for the playoffs and in relegation battle. But let's get into these predictions. First up, Thursday evening, the game that is live on FR UK on YouTube. Colomiers versus Brive. Now, I've gone for Brive, and that is just a hunch. The matchups are pretty good for them with their pack. In theory, they've got a big pack, and that in theory is where they have the upper hand over Colomiers, which is their slight Achilles heel. I kind of think Colomiers, I don't rate Brive that much, but I'm going for them. I just think I've got a hunch on this one. Rich going for Colomiers at home, which makes sense. They've got a really, really strong side out, full noise. Biarritz versus Provence, another one we are split on. Rich going for Provence. They've had a couple of bad weeks. They lost at home to Agen last week and then lost away at Dax a couple of weeks ago. They need to bounce back, otherwise they'll start to lose ground in that playoff race. Rich is going for them. I'm going for Biarritz. Biarritz have not been in great form themselves, but just feels like, I don't know, again, a bit of a hunch. Provence not hitting the heights that they have done in recent weeks. They struggled on a similar trip to Dax a few weeks ago, so I'm going for Biarritz in that one. And then there's a few predictable ones with some kind of teams with some very strong home records or some teams with very bad away records up against each other. So we're both going for Grenoble, backing against our boys, Soyongalem. Sorry, lads, after that good win last week. But Grenoble are starting to find some form. Oyonnax are hosting Dax. Oyonnax keep losing by narrow margins away from home, but at home they've generally been pretty strong. They've got huge packs. They can counter Dax's strength, and they've got way more X factor. Nevers are in an absolute pit. They've got one bonus point on the road all season. They've got to go down the road to Aurillac. We're going for Aurillac in that one, who are going pretty well generally. Béziers, another team dreadful on the road this season. They've not won away either. Going to Mont-de-Marsan, who have actually started to get it together a little bit. They found a little bit of form. They're still not out of the woods in terms of relegation. That could be it's a big game in the relegation battle. Could be a huge win for Mont-de-Marsan, that one. Talking of the relegation battle, Carcassonne, unfortunately, after a good result a couple of good results recently, go away to Agen, who had a brilliant win last week, and Agen are very, very good at home. And they should have too much up front for Carcassonne. The physicality is still a little bit of an issue for Carcassonne, so we're going for Agen in that one. And then the last game of the round, we are split on again. So Valence have an unbeaten home record. They have got the ultimate test of that with Van coming to visit. Van, I think the fact that it's the last game in this block means that they should go full noise, and I don't think anyone in Pro Day 2 can really live up with, can really match Van when Van are at full noise. Rich going for Valence, he's backing them with their home record. They rested a load of players last week, so therefore they should be full noise and fresh this week. Cracking game, that one. Really, really hard to call. Let us know what you think about these predictions. Any you agree with, disagree with, any questions, stick them in the comments. But enjoy Pro Day 2 round 23. It's going to be a cracker. Okay, so your Thursday evening rugby, your Thursday evening Pro Day de Rugby, which you can watch live and free on FR UK on YouTube, is Colomiers v Brive, a big game in the context of the playoffs, and two teams in quite interesting places. So Colomiers are the best away side in the league. They are second in the league generally. Their home form isn't as good as you might expect for being second in the league. Brive are currently in sixth. They could drop out of the playoffs this week if they lose. And they need that for the biggest budget side in the league. That is not particularly good. And they haven't been that great on the road. But with this being the last game for 3 weeks, they have gone fairly strong. And they've packed their side with a load of non-GIFs, which in Brive's case, the guys that haven't come through the academy or haven't been bred in France, the kind of guys they brought in from overseas, that it generally indicates that they're picking stronger players, or they kind of care about the result a lot more than kind of anything else. The big news, obviously, is Courtney Laws is back. He didn't play last week, so he should be fresh. And with Jan Payson and Henko Fenter in the back row, that is a really, really big quality back row. Anthony Coletta will be in the second row. Well, he was captain at Colomiers last season, and he was brilliant in the reverse fixture. Elsewhere, so there's no John Cooney, there's no Kerwin Bosch, so there's a couple of absences in that back line for Brive, but some plenty of quality there with Jamie Shilcock, who's starting to find a bit of form. Ben Tapawai has been pretty good when he's played this season, and Stuart Olding, so some experience in that back line, in the spine of that back line. And you'd expect the pack to get the front foot against Colomiers because of Colomiers still a little bit weaker generally at scrum time, so if Brive can get the front foot ball, then you'd imagine the likes of Olding and Shilcock and Tapawai will put them in the right areas. So that's good, decent signs for Brive. It's a decent side. Colomiers are feels like they're absolute full noise, or as strong as they can absolutely go, apart from a few international players missing. So they missed the Portuguese internationals of Rodrigo Mata, Vincent Pinto, and Nicolas Martins. They also missed Pablo Dimchef, their first choice hooker, who's away with Italy. But other than that, they've got Valentin Delpy back. He is an excellent goal kicker, an excellent fly half on loan from Toulouse. He would play for Toulouse in their rout of Montauban last weekend. Caleb Team, who starts at number 8, Ray Nu, who starts at 12. Those are the big ones for us in any Colomiers side. They're the guys that get over the gain line, give them the front foot ball to allow the kind of dual playmakers of Delpy and Giral to run the show and play some brilliantly thrilling, exciting attacking rugby. And it will be exciting attacking rugby from Colomiers. So two slightly different styles between these two teams. Thomas Adelaide we love in the second row. I love, if you've seen any of his previews, you know that I love Luca Platerate. I think he's fantastic. The key thing is how can they go up front. So Donglot gets a go at 9, so the former Toulon man. Segala off the bench is a good option to have as well, can keep the tempo up if Brive are starting to tire. So yeah, fascinating matchup of kind of pace versus bulk in this one. Can that Colomiers pack match up to Brive? If they can, then it will be fantastic to watch, and they should get the win. I'm going for Brive on the basis that I think I quite like the matchup. I don't particularly like Brive this season, but quite like that matchup. For them, Rich going for Colomiers because of just the team they've picked and the quality of their side generally and how they're going in the league. A little bit better form than Brive. Let us know what you think. If you've got any questions about these two teams, there's plenty of players there that I've not talked about. Get them in the comments and enjoy this game live on FR UK over with our friends there on YouTube. But enjoy this game and round 23 of Pro Day 2. Cheers.